Hello everyone and welcome to this training video. In this training video I want to go through a feature of the iPad and the iPhone called guided access. Now guided access keeps the iPad and the iPhone locked into a single app, and it makes it far more difficult to move between different apps. So what do I mean by that? Because that all sounds a little bit negative. Say for instance you're working on an iPad with a toddler or a person with learning difficulties and they get distracted so easily. And so you've got an app that you want them to interact with, but because of the distraction they can switch from one app to another app every few seconds. And this is easily done because to exit an app all you need to do is just press the home button. However, once you activate guided access through the menu system, the only way that that person can come out of that app or stop using it is by triple pressing the home button and then by entering a 4-digit passcode. So you can see that it locks the iPad or the iPhone into just one app. So how do you activate guided access? Well, like most things with the iPhone and the iPad, it's all done via the settings menu. So let's go in there now. Now on the settings menu, make sure that you are in the general menu, which you can see on my screen on the left. And then within the general menu we want to select accessibility. And accessibility we go down to the learning, which is near the bottom of the screen, and we've got guided access. So yours will probably say guided access off, so just touch on it and then knock it on, toggle it between on and off, and toggle it on, the green appears and you've activated it. Now another thing that you need to do, you may automatically be prompted for it, or you may best just to go into this setting here, passcode settings, set guided access passcode, and this is a 4-digit passcode that you need. Okay, and it will prompt you to input it twice. Now a word of warning here, I tend to use for the passcode, I tend to use either 4 zeros or the digits 1, 2, 3, 4 because they're so easy to remember, and I don't worry about security in terms of starting and stopping guided access. Now if you want to or you need to set a more personal or secure passcode for guided access, then go ahead, but be warned, because if you forget this passcode and you repeatedly enter it incorrectly, the iPad or your iPhone will lock themselves for ever increasing amounts of time, because for security reasons you're entering the wrong code. Now this continues, and I've experienced this, until you will need to reset the device, and you can only do that by attaching it to a computer that is running iTunes, and I speak from bitter experience. Starting and stopping, shutting down and starting your iPad or your iPhone won't get around this lockdown. If you can't remember your passcode, then the iPhone and the iPad will lock themselves, and you may need to reset it. So please don't forget this password. Consider using a really simple one. Now as well on our screen we've got time limits. When we look at the actual guided access menu screen in a few seconds, I'll show you about how to set time limits, but on this part of the menu all we're going to do here is select whether or not we want an alarm to sound when our time limit is coming to an end, or we want a spoken prompt telling us of that thing. So we've got sound and speak on our menu, and that's for the time limits. Okay, now let's go I'm going to go into guided access and start it within an app. And I'm going to start it in an app that I love called Noise Room, which is a sound effects app. You can see that I've got lots of animals there. Touch on the animal and the sound that it makes comes across. So once I've started the app, I then want to start guided access within the app, and I do that by triple pressing the home button. Now I don't know about you, but I find triple pressing stuff on the iPad quite difficult. That could just be me. And I'm then going to start guided access. Get a message up telling me it's started, and you probably won't see that. You will see this screen here. It shrinks itself down and menu buttons appear at the bottom. So let's have a quick look at these. The hardware buttons. As well as disabling the one-touch home button, guided access can also help you to control the actions of all the other physical buttons on your iPad or your iPhone. Because let's face it, if an individual has worked out how to press the home button repeatedly, they're going to be looking around and feeling for other buttons on the device and also trying to press those. And you can see here we've got the sleep and wake button, we've got the volume button, we've got the motion button, we've got the keyboards. Anything in green is still enabled and anything just in white is disabled, and you can change those and have whatever controls you like. So let's have a look at this touch option. Now the green shows that the touch screen still works, which is good because a lot of interaction with the iPad is all about the touch screen. If I select that, then you can see suddenly the whole screen is greyed out. Now for most of the time you don't want the touch screen not working, okay, or you don't want all of the touch screen not working. You actually want to leave that option on like it is there, green, that button, so it shows green. In specific circumstances I've disabled the whole screen, and this is normally when I'm looking at watching YouTube videos. But in all other circumstances I would encourage you just to leave the touch screen on, because you can see that if you look at my screen, parts of it are greyed out. These areas are parts of the screen that I specifically selected to disable. Now in the case of this app, I have greyed out selected areas of the screen, you can see here at the bottom, to do with the volume control in this app, and I don't know if you can see below it, but you've also got start and fast forward and backward buttons as well. If we look up here, another part of the screen which I've disabled is a menu button, because again that can be very distracting. I just want the person who's using this app to actually focus on the sounds themselves and nothing else. Now also when I start the app properly, which we can do the top right of the screen, we've got a resume button. So again it comes to full screen again, the app comes to full screen, and we can see the areas that I've selected to be disabled are still greyed out. So that's great when the app's running. So let's go back to our menu now. Now we can select an area of the screen by just drawing around it with our finger. Now you won't be able to see this, but as we draw a shape with our finger, a line appears, and then when we connect either end of that line to each other, then a grey box appears. I have only ever been able to select rectangular or square areas of the screen. I cannot do circular areas or anything like that. If you know differently and you've been able to select circular areas or other shapes of the screen, then please let me know in the comment section. Now this feature as we've seen here with this app, is great for disabling unwanted or distracting menu items or other features such as start and stop buttons which we don't want the person to use. Another way that it's fantastic for using is when we download a free app, there will always be an advert at the top of the screen or at the bottom of the screen, and you can select, by drawing around the ad, you can select that so that when it's touched nothing happens. And a final cracking feature of the Guided Access app is that when I come out of the app, there we go, I've come out of the app, and then I go back into it, and here we go, I've gone back into it. It remembers my settings, so it remembers from last time the areas of the screen that I wanted to be disabled. And that's it, folks. There's a very quick demonstration of Guided Access. I hope you've enjoyed watching it. Please let me know your comments in the comments section below. Please let me know how you find Guided Access when you've used it, or how you think it may help you, because this is the first time that you've come across it. Yeah, I'd welcome all comments. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.